When you think about businesses that are selling through the roof, like Aloe or Allbirds, sure, you think about a great product, a cool brand, and great marketing. But an often overlooked secret is actually the businesses behind the business, making selling, and for shoppers, buying, simple. For millions of businesses, that business is Shopify. Nobody does online business better than Shopify. It's home of Shop Pay, the #1 checkout in the world. You can use it to boost conversions up to 50%, meaning way less carts going abandoned and way more sales going through to checkout. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/income, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/income to upgrade your selling today. That's shopify.com/income.
The family that vacations together stays together. At least, that was the plan. Except now, the Dastardly desk clerk is saying he can't confirm your connecting rooms.
Wait, what?
That's right, ma'am. You have rooms 201 and 709.
No, we cannot be 5 floors away from our kids.
The doors have double locks. They'll be fine.
When you want connecting rooms confirmed before you arrive, it matters where you stay.
Welcome to Hilton. I see your connecting rooms are already confirmed.
Hilton, for the stay.
Hi, I'm Ghislaine Boddington, and this is Somewhere on Earth, the Global Tech Podcast, and it's Tuesday the 16th of September 2025. This week on the show, we have 3 voices from the UK and Kenya, all women working extensively to explore the challenges and opportunities as the uptake of artificial intelligence evolves into the workplace.
I'm Alex Farrell. I'm a tech entrepreneur and I specialise in the world of work tech. So that's building technology that helps people in the future of work.
My name is Wambui Kahara and I'm from Kenya. I am the founder and CEO of Crystal Tribe Investments. We support African businesses to scale globally, and we also work with international investors, companies and entrepreneurs who are looking to enter or expand in the African market.
My name is Parmi Olson. I'm a technology columnist with Bloomberg. I cover developments in artificial intelligence, social media, tech regulation. I was previously a reporter with the Wall Street Journal and Forbes. I'm the author of the recent book, Supremacy, AI, ChatGPT, and the Race That Will Change the World.
AI in the workplace, what it can do and how companies are using this technology. And how will the world's youngest continent embrace AI? Africa has the youngest population in the world, yet AI is still not commonplace and it lacks trust. As these digital natives come of age, how can AI be evolved to deal with their needs? And how can it be integrated into economies, education and business? Also, where are we with big AI? AI is here now and businesses must accept that it's happening and it's here to stay. That's the view of one of our guests today. That's all right here on the Somewhere on Earth podcast. AI is here now, and businesses must accept it's happening and that it's here to stay. That's the view of one of our guests today. Alex Farrell is founder and CEO of Autometry. Her expertise lies in the world of work technologies, and she sees AI digital assistants working alongside humans as the key to productivity increase in the workplace of the future. I met up with her at the Business ABC AI Global Summit in London. Well, we've just heard you speaking on stage here at the Global AI Summit, Business ABC Global AI Summit, and you did some really great inputs. We wanted to grab you afterwards and talk to you about a couple of the things that you said on stage, just to take it a bit further. And one of them was just saying very clearly, straight out, AI is not futuristic. It is the present. It's happening. It's now. And could you talk a little bit more about that and justify that statement and how you see that?
Yes, I think AI is being used right now in 2 ways. It's being used from a consumer level and we're all having a little play with ChatGPT and helping it in our sort of more personal lives, but it's happening at an enterprise level as well. So you'll soon see companies change shape quite dramatically, and you'll see companies start to have certain jobs, certain roles and tasks being done by digital assistants that we call agents.
Looking at businesses today that you're working with, how are they starting to adjust to this? What actions are they taking to move into working with AIs?
Well, our advice is that they think about what the shape of their business is in 12 months' time. Yeah. And we work backwards and say, the shape of our business in 12 months' time will have this as the human workforce, and they'll be augmented by a digital workforce of these agents. And we think that's happening now. We think that agents can help human workforces do a lot more and be a lot more productive. And that's happening today.
So if we look at today, say we look at the next year ahead, what kind of roles do you see digital agents working with human-led scenarios alongside them? What kind of roles do you feel the digital agents are able to take on now, and what do you see as coming?
The roles that digital agents can do now are the ones that are very data focused, that rely on sourcing and reviewing lots of data, and they're the roles that are perfect for it. So, for example, in a recruitment context, somebody who sources candidates for a job, or in a sales organisation, somebody who uses data to figure out who to sell to next, a business development rep. And it's those kind of roles, data-driven roles, that we think digital agents are good at right now.
So in my kind of view, I really agree with you on that. That for me kind of slightly helps with replacing where I feel we've got to in terms of being a bit like robotic in our work, where we have become the data filler in, spending hours and hours on data sheets. And working in some large companies, for example, you just look at so many people just being robots at their jobs. So is that the shift that you're seeing, that actually will be people will have more time to do what?
It's absolutely the shift we're seeing. So the agents or robots should take over the sort of monotonous process-driven jobs that are valuable, but that humans aren't particularly good at. And the humans can then have their time freed up to do much more high-value work such as interacting with their clients, interacting with the people in their organisation, not the work that's pressing buttons, that's lower value.
Great. No, I really agree. I think the one question our listeners will be ringing in their heads right now is, but isn't that just mean a lot of people are going to lose their jobs? Yeah. What do you see as a result of that in terms of, is it going to be a loss of jobs, or is it just a shift in the types of jobs and other new jobs occurring in the future world of work?
I think there will be a loss of jobs. Some jobs will cease to exist. I think new jobs will become coming to existence that don't exist right now. There will be a reshaping of the workforce, and it's very difficult for me to really know what that looks like. But there'll certainly be big changes ahead. Where I think the productivity upside is for us, however, is the human in the loop, and it's where a human is augmented with an agent rather than just straight swapped out. And that's for me nirvana, is when you've got human recruiters having assistants rather than being replaced by robots.
That was Alex Farrell speaking to me in London. Interesting to hear about her predictions on the uptake of digital AI assistants in the world of work. We're wondering if any listeners have stories to share from us from their own experiences with this. Please do contact us with those stories. AI is increasingly used in developing countries, but what about places where AI still hasn't quite come into everyday life, say in parts of Africa? And how can people learn to trust this technology and learn to use it in a way to benefit them? Yet AI lacks localised context, and this is causing distrust issues for digital natives as they come of age. Dr. Wambui Kahara is an entrepreneur and philanthropist based in Kenya with a focus on youth development, sustainability and inclusive practices. I talked to her at the Business ABC AI Global Summit, where she was chairing several panels around the skill sets required for the 21st century workplace. She is the founder and CEO of Crystal Tribe Investments, and she has worked with the United Nations on youth empowerment, urban safety and next generation leaders.
AI is evolving, and it's evolving with the time. And it can give an example of Kenya, which is the tech hub of Africa. We have a young population that is one of the highest users of internet in Africa, and we have a society that has embraced AI, mobile money, everything is digital, and there's conversations around how AI will replace jobs in a society where the jobs are already not there. So it's a very, very interesting conversation, because we cannot avoid AI. Of course, we have to embrace it, and we have to see how to use AI to be able to create jobs in the future, as much as it will replace as the jobs will be evolving. So finding the right skill set is very important. We had a conversation earlier about the 21st century skills. How are the students in school, what subjects are they learning? Are they relevant? Will they be relevant in 10 years' time? Will they be relevant in 20 years' time? How is the job sector evolving? How is the education evolving to actually be able to meet the need?
You've got this amazing set of young people coming through who are educated in the system as it is today, yeah? And the infrastructure's good because you've got great use of internet, people are digitally literate in the main, and the evolution of AI into that is a kind of natural advancement, which can be used in many ways. And then, do you see an entrepreneurship scene coming out of it? So are young people able to do their own startups? Is the energy there to do that? Do they have experience and the confidence to do that? Which is what's always needed, a bit of risk and confidence with the entrepreneur side.
Most young people face unemployment. They've had to be innovative, especially now that they have access to internet, they have access to AI. We have a booming startup market, especially in Nairobi. So you have a lot of startups, tech companies and entrepreneurs coming up, and we've also attracted a lot of international investors to actually come and support some of these entrepreneurs to be able to scale up and expand globally. As these startup companies grow and as they're expanding globally, we need to make sure that it is not just, we have the right partners, because we do have some partners who come on board who throw money at companies or throw money at projects, but it's not sustainable. So what is sustainable is to make sure that they have the right skills and knowledge to be able to be independent and actually to grow.
And I think there was a very interesting discussion on the panel that you chaired earlier around education, around the fact that we've got this AI happening. It actually, one of its key things that artificial intelligence can do is make education more accessible to many people, particularly through the infrastructures growing in different places quite well, yeah. But actually the content that's been shared, the large language models that it's been trained on, that they need to be more localised and more indigenous. And I was wondering what you felt about that in relationship to Kenya, to Africa. Do you see that need, or is it happening, or how can that be gone about to actually make it more relevant to the needs of young people today in Africa?
It's a very interesting conversation because you have young people who are hungry in terms of innovation, and they have embraced the internet, they've embraced AI, but you still have the local communities that are still very reluctant to embracing anything that is not human contact. So you still have a society that is very traditional, cultural, and also reserved in some ways, and also cautious when it comes to embracing the evolving change. And because of this, it's been a challenge to collect the right data on the ground, because African societies are also built on trust, on relationships, for a very long time. And some of the communities want to maintain their culture and they don't want to dilute their traditions. So finding the right partner and infrastructure on the ground where the local communities feel that this is not foreign, this is something that will benefit the community, is definitely going to help a lot, especially when it comes to capacity building on the ground and also speaking their language as well, because there's obviously language barriers on the ground, and having the trust of the local communities to be able to share and to share genuinely, and also to feel that data is being used in the right way, and to feel they're not being misrepresented, and to also feel that they're part of the evolving change for their development.
So that actually, if they do use, say, ChatGPT, or any of those programs, that what comes out actually is relevant to their scenario, is related to their culture, and maybe to that particular skill on the ground, whether it's in a rural area or whether it's in a weaving area or whether it's in a city area, and also the language bases within it. So are the projects that are actually starting to, I was thinking about how that data is being collected, because to me it seems really important that it makes sense, because otherwise you just get back a load of stuff which is just not relevant to your place and context. Like you said, the context goes wrong, and it just must seem very generic or even slightly, what the heck is it on about,
In terms of the data, I would say it's 50-50, because you have a couple of people who go on ChatGPT and you will get information, but you will also not get full information. And that is why I mentioned in the panel, it's important to have the local intelligence, because the local intelligence to maneuver on the ground is important, because there's information that you will not get online. There's information that AI will not be able to give you. There's also information that you will only be able to verify if it's a one-on-one, with another person, because you have intuition and you have a feeling, and you have that feeling that, are they telling me the truth or they're hiding something, So there's all those dynamics.
I think it's fascinating because as part of the Global AI Summit, one of the key words that we're working with is trust, trust and growth. And how do we trust it? How do we trust AI? How do we trust this new stuff? What do people feel about it? And it's not just the fear side, but actually whether it's telling us a load of garbage or not. And the hallucinations things come up a few times. But what's interesting in your scenario is, for me, it's like a double trust scenario. You've got the physical trust has got to come into place alongside this actual data, virtual, digital trust. And it's got to link up. Somehow it's got to intersect together to a point that actually is not totally natural, It's something's got to click that goes, actually, the intellect, like you said, of the community itself, of the grassroots, or of the senior people in those communities, does need to go, okay, we've put it in there and it does reflect our community, this, and now let's start to use it and add more and add more and add more, so it learns more, of course, in the languages side too. But it's definitely a physical virtual trust, it's kind of figure of eight that's got to develop across time, hasn't it?
And especially when it comes to data, is very sensitive, and there's a lot of perceptions that our phones listen to us, and there's of course a lot of concerns about the future of AI in terms of right now AI is being controlled by human beings. So in the future, there's a lot of concerns whether AI will be able to control human beings in that sense. It will take time, and we will figure it out. I feel at the moment there's of course a craze, everybody's talking about AI is here. How do we control AI? How do we make sure AI is beneficial to our everyday life? However, there's also a lot of concerns, and the concerns are valid because we do not know what the risks are.
Dr. Wambui Kahara. You can hear more from Wambui in our podcast subscription extra edition by searching Somewhere on Earth pod.fan.
This episode is brought to you by Indeed. When your computer breaks, you don't wait for it to magically start working again. You fix the problem. So why wait to hire the people your company desperately needs? Use Indeed's sponsored jobs to hire top talent fast. And even better, you only pay for results. There's no need to wait. Speed up your hiring with a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply.
New Vitamin Water Zero Sugar Pineapple Passion Fruit is packed with vitamins. Just like the amount of peas we packed in that sentence. It's packed like your tote bag. The one you stole from your ex. Or your overpriced half a studio apartment. Or extra rushed rush hour traffic. Packed like your calendar. Triple booked at 5, of course. Grab a Vitamin Water. Did we mention it's packed with vitamins?
Make your next move with American Express Business Platinum. Earn 5 times membership rewards points on flights and prepaid hotels booked on AmexTravel.com. And with a welcome offer of 150,000 points after you spend $20,000 on purchases on the card within your first 3 months of membership, your business can soar to new heights. Terms apply. Learn more at americanexpress.com/business-platinum. Amex Business Platinum. Built for business by American Express.
Technology columnist at Bloomberg LP and author of Supremacy, AI, ChatGPT and the Race That Will Change the World, Parmi Olsen won the 2024 Financial Times and Schroeder Business Book of the Year award. Her book shares the details of the drama of AI development, particularly looking at OpenAI and DeepMind across 2022 to 24. With 10 years' experience in working on the evolution and the issues around AI, she highlights in her book societal implications, such as bias in AI, showing how corporate ambitions to make money fast have been prioritised, bypassing the need for perfect data to be shared honestly, and with the dismissal of ethics boards and the lack of regulations.
I wrote the book very soon after the release of ChatGPT, and I think people like it because I try and tell the story of the people behind AI. What I found really intriguing about ChatGPT when it came out wasn't just how human-like and incredibly fluent it seemed to be, which was just felt like this kind of groundbreaking technology. But through my reporting on the tech industry, I had learned about this struggle going on behind the scenes to actually police AI properly and oversee it and make sure that it was built safely and ethically. And the founders and builders of this technology were actually worried about this. And not only that, for them, ChatGPT was just a step towards this much, much bigger and more ambitious goal of building artificial general intelligence, which is this technical term used to describe very powerful AI, much more powerful than what we have today, but AI that is effectively smarter than humans and more capable than the human brain. And there's been this kind of prevailing belief driving some of these visionaries that once we build that, we'll solve all sorts of very, very big problems that humans have been grappling with, whether it's poverty or curing certain diseases like cancer or solving climate change. And there are some very noble goals to building that. But along the way, as these scientists and visionaries have actually tried to build this AI, they've been kind of sucked into the gravitational pull of big tech. And I think big tech is such an important part of this story. We're living in a time where just 5 companies absolutely dominate the markets, the economy, even politically, they have so much power. I heard a statistic yesterday that something like 20% of the value of stock markets around the world is made up of the top 5 tech companies. So what I really wanted to show through the book is how this vision and this path to building AGI had sort of been swayed and usurped by these big tech companies, and the visionaries had ended up extending their wealth and power. So the book is really about 2 key visionaries, the founder of DeepMind, Demis Hassabis, and the co-founder of OpenAI, Sam Altman, who you have probably heard of.
Yes, for sure. And I think this is where the fascination is, because we've all been watching this behind the scenes and reading the newspapers and catching up with bits here and there, probably your articles too. But actually, we know so much is happening behind there, and it's been very fast, all these shift changes. It's great for me that you've mentioned there the original intents around the ethics, the policing, also this very important area of AGI, artificial general intelligence. And you've mentioned some of those 5 big companies. And I wanted to ask you now, you've got in the title, The Race That Will Change the World. Who do you feel is currently winning the race? And I mean that not just from the point of view of the companies, but also from the continents. For example, China's come into play now. We can hear Russia pulling through some ideas, yeah? What can you see ahead now in this very speedy changes that can happen?
I think geopolitically speaking, the United States is ahead, although China absolutely is catching up, and some would say has caught up. Chinese AI companies are doing incredibly well, in large part because they focus on open source AI. And so companies in China, they're effectively sharing their blueprints with one another, meaning nobody really has to start from scratch. One AI company releases a model, they put the blueprints on the web, and you can just copy that and build on that. And so that's why in just the last 2 years, they have closed this gap with Silicon Valley in terms of the capabilities of the models that they're releasing. In terms of companies, I would say Google has also done a great job of closing the gap with OpenAI. It was really caught on the back foot when ChatGPT came out. Google was just had to scramble. But here we are, more than a couple years later, and Gemini, which is Google's flagship AI product, is incredibly capable. Lots of people use it. They have huge distribution through, Google services, Google Search, Android. So they're able to get their AI into the hands of billions of people all at once, which is something that OpenAI couldn't do. It really had to start from ground zero. The difference with OpenAI, though, is that it really had first mover advantage. And ChatGPT just continues to, even with its latest version, keep growing in terms of its user base. The latest numbers are that it has 700 million weekly
Wow,
active
wow,
users. It's an
yeah.
incredible number, which I think probably will hit a billion by the end of this year, to come from like nothing. Unless I don't know of any product actually in history that has gone to a billion users in maybe 3 years, which is absolutely what ChatGPT could do. So I would say OpenAI is still very much like at the top along with Google. And then maybe you've got Microsoft, and then kind of below that, you've got Apple and Amazon. Apple's really kind of trying to catch up at the moment.
On the other hand, we do hear in the news, particularly for tech news, that many of the kind of more pilot projects in AI are not getting off the ground and are not getting investment. Do you see that too, the smaller end ideas or new ideas, innovative ideas?
So there was a study that came out from MIT recently, which showed that 95% of pilot projects that companies were using were kind of testing generative AI on, just were not bringing better profits or better productivity. So they had failed.
Right.
And I think that really jolted the market a little bit, and actually it had quite a widespread influence, and there was a big sell-off of tech stocks. But I think this is really quite revolutionary technology in the sense that businesses are using it. It absolutely can do incredible things. And I think this really is just something that businesses are going to take years to learn how to effectively integrate. And we've seen this throughout history with any new tech wave. What happens is you get the new tech, whether it's smartphones or PCs or social media, and it actually takes businesses a few years to capitalize on that technology. And it's absolutely no surprise why. A business is made up of sometimes hundreds, maybe even thousands of people, and changing the way you do things, your systems, your processes, that's just going to take time and lots of mistakes. But the thing that I think really shows me that this tech is influential and is going to change things is the way consumers are adopting it. So I think there's been an absolute boom and kind of underrated boom in personal use of AI. The prime example being ChatGPT, with just the number of people using it on a regular basis. You've got people who are using apps like Notion or Character AI for, therapy bots, characterized as kind of like an entertainment slash companion platform. That's got 20 million regular users. And again, this just fits in with the pattern of tech revolutions in history. Like it takes businesses a few years to really grapple with the tech, but consumers embrace it like that. They embrace it much, much more quickly. That's exactly what we saw with social media and with smartphones.
So thank you very much, Parmi, for that input there. It's great that I know you're going to stay on with us for a bit of podcast extra. So we'll finish the show and we'll come back to our subscribers with a bit extra from Parmi from this interview. Well, that's it for this week. Do get in touch via hello@somewhereonearth.co or via WhatsApp on +44 7486 329 484. Please also review us on your podcasting platforms. Somewhere on Earth is a proud partner of the Evergreen Podcast Network. For more information or to check out other shows on the network, please visit evergreenpodcasts.com. Also, a huge thank you to our sponsor, Roost. We hope you enjoyed the show. Until next time, bye!